Hey everyone, we're back. Monday night stream. Continuing Ocarina of Time. Since we're playing on Wii U, we have the suspension point, which is really nice. The virtual console games basically auto-save when you quit the game, and then when you go back into them, they'll load you exactly the point you were at when you left. So I like that. It's a really nice feature. So, as Monday night stream, continuing Ocarina of Time. We're in Jabu's belly. There we go. Thought I didn't have any sound then. I do. Oh yeah, turn the headset down. That's better. Alright, so let's continue with Ocarina. And at this point, I think it'd be better if I put the Deku shield on. Hey, babe. Am I getting any sound? Let me turn this down. There, that's good. Alright, onwards. So, in Jabu's belly, you know what, I'm having you. I'm gonna have you as well. Jabu's belly, third dungeon of the game. And after this, we'll be past, like, the first part of the game. Will be good. Damn it, I wanted to jump over that, I don't want to jump into it. God, I hate Monstro in Kingdom Hearts. Really do. It's one of my least favourite worlds in the first Kingdom Hearts. I also don't like Neverland or Atlantica, but you know, nobody likes Atlantica. So how you doing tonight, Bane? So we're in here looking for Princess Ruto, who was either swallowed by Jabu. Oh, there's Princess Ruto. Yeah, he even moved so I could come and save you. It was an impressive feat. It took like 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Not really much going on at the minute. Kind of testing a new style of recording with Metal Gear Solid. The first session I recorded Metal Gear Solid, so we'll see how that goes when it goes up on Friday. Got some stuff on the PS2 that I'm considering doing. And I'm debating making a return to Final Fantasy XIV now that Shadowbringers is out. But the issue with Shadowbringers now is I didn't even pick up Stormblood, so I'm like 2 expansions behind now. The method is basically recording and exporting the audio bonded with the game audio. No, I want to throw her. Damn it. Exporting the audio on the same track as the game audio, the commentary audio on the same track as the game audio. And effectively what that does is, like the stream, it will automatically lower the volume of the game while I'm talking. Which is pretty decent. Okay, I want this. But the downside of that means there's no editing of the audio, which means I can't cut out any of the sound that I make, like when I clear my throat, when I cough, when I sniff, when I smack my lips together, like, can't cut that out. So I'm still undecided on whether I'm going to keep it like that. Awesome. You know, it's still not, as we're playing a 64 game, still not gone round and checked about fixing the audio from actually recording from the 64, which I need to do at some point. There's a bunch of stuff on there I could stream. I got the Japanese version of Castlevania 64, because the Japanese version of Castlevania 64 has a battery backup save, whereas the Western versions don't. They save to the control pack. And my control pack doesn't work because control packs are a complete piece of garbage. So is this out? There we go. Jeez, took long enough. Seriously, like one of the most unreliable things in bloody gaming. It's like, okay, you know what? The VMU is a similar idea. The VMU on the Dreamcast, but the VMU doesn't require the battery to. Damn, I'm gonna have to go back and get her now. God damn it. The VMU doesn't require the doesn't require a battery for the save. There is a battery in the VMU, and if it dies, it'll let you know, because the damn thing makes a loud beeping noise when you turn the system on. But it'll still hold the save data. So the 64 the controller packs are just so unreliable. I hate it. Of course, the downside with having the downside with having, God, shut up, Ruto. Downside of having the Japanese version is I can't understand it. And while it's not as text heavy as like Symphony of the Night, with all the items and the stats and stuff that you need to be paying attention to. Oh, that's the first time I picked up a magic jar. Yeah, with all the stats and stuff. And that. There's still some very important stuff that you want to read, and I don't know Castlevania 64 anywhere near well enough to get through it without knowing what I'm reading. I like Symphony of the Night. It's not a bad idea, actually. Highlight reels. I mean, we've not been streaming for like as long as you might think. There we go. I mean, at this point, what have we done? We've done 2 RPGs. We did Dark Souls and Final Fantasy VII. Neither of them was short. We've had a bunch of casual streams, one-offs and stuff. But we've still not been streaming for anywhere near as long as you might think. It might have been like a month, 2 months maybe. It's not been long. Well, highlight reel's not a bad idea. There was some good stuff every now and then. That bit where I jumped off twice could be a highlight. Alright. There we go. Alright, the rest of this dungeon should be a cakewalk. So, Bane, you said you've only played Ocarina 3D. You've never played this one? Never played the original all the way through? Because, like, with somebody with who plays retro games as much as you, could be a 5-minute video, yeah. Yeah. Somebody who plays old stuff as often as you, I'm surprised you never took the time out to play this until Ocarina 3D. Oh yeah, I don't need to drop her here. Drop her here though. These enemies are irritating. Right, come on. Come on. Yeah, it's a good idea though, man. I'll definitely take it into consideration. I've got some thoughts about that actually. Of course, that blue rupee disappears as I notice it. Then again, it's not like I need. Do I? I don't need much money. Probably pick up enough as I go. I'm surprised it's not a series that you ever really pushed yourself to get into. I mean, I pushed myself to get into Fire Emblem for a long time before I actually managed to get into it properly. This is the one I need to put her down on. I mean, I've been through this game a lot of times, but I owned this as a kid. I've owned it on many systems since. I had it on 64. Had the GameCube version, actually, that came with Wind Waker. Had the collector's edition that had Wind Waker. No, it didn't have Wind Waker. It had Ocarina and Majora's Mask on GameCube. Got it on the Wii U Virtual Console. Got it on 3DS. So I've been through this game a bunch. It's one of those things like you didn't have a huge number of 64 games, so there was always the stuff that I defaulted to. And Zelda was just one of those things, because Ocarina has like this big open world you can just go around. It was big at the time. So is it this one? Yes. Thanks, Navi. 5 minutes to take them all down. Boomerang's actually not bad for this. So, do you have any plans for? Did you say it's only in recent years you started to play the series properly? Do you have any plans to play more Zelda games? Like, what you intend to go for next? Because like one of the things you can do with Zelda versus an RPG is get through them in under a week. Well, the PS2 was just a fantastic system. Not because it was a good system, because it just had so much. So if the PS2 is your second favourite console, what's your favourite? Alright, it didn't take out anything significant there. It's not that one. It's got to be this one on the left. Yes. Awesome. And get this one. So it's really just a sweet spot to find with these things, where they'll come back down after you hit them, but you can hit them before they hit you. Personal recommendation, Bane, would be don't play Majora's Mask on 3DS. Play the original version however you can. Favourite's PS1. That's fair enough. I mean, we're both RPG fans, and like we've discussed in the past that there's just something about PS1 RPGs, the design of them. It's still something that we both really enjoy. I've mentioned, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on stream, but like my favourite genre to explore is PS1 JRPGs, because there was just so much going on with them. But yeah, I'd recommend like not playing Majora's Mask 3D. I'd recommend doing the original. Ocarina 3D, great. Honestly, it's a really solid way to play the game. Majora's Mask 3D, I do not like. They changed a lot of stuff, and I don't think they changed it for the better. Now, Majora's Mask is a game I do really enjoy. There's a lot of good stuff going on with it. Not just in story-wise, but I do love a lot of the gameplay they have. Alright, take both of you out. Hmm. How many tokens do I have now? 8. Alright. Might make a trip into the Skulltula house at some point just to see what it is, see what it's like, and potentially give some people nightmares. My least favourite room in the dungeon. There we go. PS1, PS2, PSP, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy. It's interesting. I wouldn't. Like they're all good choices, I think, except for Game Boy. Since you're not ordering them, I'm guessing like it's a hard job ordering most of them, except the PS1 and PS2. But I'd have put Game Boy Advance on there instead of Game Boy. So the Game Boy does have a lot of good stuff and is very influential as a handheld system, but there's a lot of bad stuff there. I think the Game Boy Advance had a higher ratio of better stuff. Don't get me wrong, there is some serious crap on GBA as well. I don't like this fight. The Big Octo. So the reason I don't like this fight is now I have to get around to the other side before it unstuns, and that is impossible. And it's gonna... There you go. I do not like the way this fight works. And the only way to get closer is to essentially get as close to the spikes as you can, and it's a very dangerous thing to do without getting hit. So in fact, what I'm going to do is, how many Deku sticks do I have? Just the one. I don't want to waste that. I mean, my favourite console's probably the GameCube, but there's two reasons. Like, the GameCube had some of the best exclusives. And it's still got a decent amount of third-party games from that generation. It's like the biggest problem with the 64 when you talk about that generation is, yeah, the first-party stuff was great, the second-party stuff was great. The third-party stuff was lacking, and a lot of the time not as good as it was on Nintendo 64, on PS1. Didn't pick it up until 2007. I played Chain of Memories. Yeah, I think you mentioned that you didn't play Chain of Memories till after you played 2. I mean, it was okay for me when I played 2 because I hadn't played 1, so I was like, yeah, I'm not supposed to understand what's going on because I just haven't played it. There we go. I don't know. I mean, GameCube is... My love of the GameCube's probably rooted pretty heavily in nostalgia as well. But I would say I can direct you to some really solid games on there. At this point, I think I'm like almost entirely over most of my nostalgia, though. Like, why do I like the PlayStation? Well, you know, there's a lot of games on there that I like that I didn't have as a kid. And the ones that I did have as a kid that I still like were actually really good games. Like, oh, hey, Symphony of the Night. Yeah, did you know Symphony of the Night's actually a really good game and I don't like it because of nostalgia? So a lot of stuff on PlayStation I like is either actually a really good game, or is something that I didn't play as a kid, so there's no nostalgia there anyway. What else do we got? I suppose a bunch of the stuff on the 64 might be nostalgia. But that said, I only had like at most 10 games on the 64 out of the, I think, a little under 300. And so while something like GoldenEye might be nostalgia, which, no, it isn't, GoldenEye hasn't aged well, and I openly recognise that. And I'm not going to lie and say that it has. Well, it may be a bit of nostalgia. Like, I'm the kind of person who will go back to old games to try and enjoy them, especially old games that I haven't played before. And here's the boss. And like the biggest gate to entry with a lot of old games for me is controls. Ocarina I don't think is too bad because Ocarina actually controls really well. Nintendo really got it right with the controls on this. Baronade. one of my favourite little design things that they did with this game, that they introduced with this game, is the names, telling you the names of the bosses with those little descriptions. So I love that. I think it's really awesome. Okay, come on. We did a jump slash because I might have mentioned last time jump slash actually does do more damage. I think it's like twice the damage. There we go. Oh. Well, that was a lucky hit. There we go. I was going to say something, but I got caught up in sneezing. Which is why I muted myself for a minute or so. Damn it. This should be the last one. Damn it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is one of the worst series, honestly, just for doing that. Like, the story of Kingdom Hearts is confusing enough as it is, but then it demands that you buy all these different systems to keep up with it. And it's like, you know what? That's actually horrible. As a consumer, that is a horrible thing to be doing, Square. Like, thank God I stopped caring about that series, like, 2012? Yeah, I stopped caring about it ages ago. Okay, you're invading my personal space there. Did you buy your 2DS before or after you got your PS4? Okay, again, invading personal space. Okay. Give me the store. Oh, before you got it. That's fair enough. Cause well, the portability is always a plus, in my opinion. I've heard that the version of Dream Drop Distance in 2.8 actually does improve a bunch of stuff. Like, not just controls and stuff, like actual gameplay improvements. God, I actually get around to actually being bothered to do any of the Kingdom Hearts games. Ugh. Kingdom Hearts 2 is such a long game. It's like, okay, maybe Kingdom Hearts 1 might have been a little short for being something you could do in like 25 hours, maybe. But the right reactions to that shouldn't have been to put out an 80-hour game. Jeez. That game is so damn long. Collected all 3 spiritual stones. Let's go and save Hyrule. And while I'm here, actually, there is a fairy fountain. going the wrong way. I'm confused about where I actually am on the map. It's over there. And I will want bombs. So like the only complaint I have with playing 64 games on Virtual Console is using the analog as a C stick. Yeah, it's good. I think this is the fair fountain of double magic meter. Yeah, but yeah, like it's going to be a while before we get to Majora's Mask, probably, because at this point this is like that second Zelda game where I'm trying to spread it out a little bit. I was just in the mood to play it. But like, I recommend doing Majora's Mask on the 64, or just doing the 64 version. Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII remake. Oh no, this is for Rose Courage, which I'm probably never going to use. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff worth having a PS4 for. And honestly, dude, pick up Resident Evil 6 so we can play it together. So I can make you suffer. You told me you never finished that. God, I finished that game 3 times now. Why do I keep playing that thing? Oh yeah, because I asked Jesse if he wanted to play RE5, and he said he was already playing it with somebody, and he suggested RE6. I was like, yeah, alright, I hate myself. God damn. So yeah, the first magic spell, which I'll never be using, and which, at this point, for us, Courage has got to be used way more in a... probably better known overall for being used by Zelda in Smash. It's her up special. It's how she teleports. Huh. Alright, let's get out of here. But you know, there's a bunch of good stuff on PS4 worth picking up. Gaming equivalent of waterboarding yourself. It's not. I mean, it's not a good game. I'll never pretend it's good. There was a time when I enjoyed playing it with friends, but that last time I went through it, I mean, no, I didn't want to pay for that. I went to backflip off the waterfall. It would have been cool. Yeah, let me just do this. Alright, so I paid 20. Let me grab the 21st so I at least get it back. I don't care if I win this. But yeah, no. RE6 is bad. It's not. It's not that bad. Because there's a lot of hyperbole that gets thrown around in gaming. And it brings up a question like, I would play through it again for LP if you had somebody to go through it co-op with. Yeah, profit. What is it? I played through the PS version. I've played through the PS3 version twice. I played through the PS4 version once. But no, it's It's a game I'd play again for Let's Play with somebody, if I had somebody to go through it co-op with. It's not a game I'd say I'll never touch again. That brings up the question, like, what wouldn't I touch again, though? Alright, now if I get this right, I can actually grab that with the boomerang. There we go. No, grab the piece of heart. Alright. We're just heading back to Hyrule Castle anyway, you're not really going to miss much. But yeah, what would I go through again? What would I not go through again? Not entirely sure. At this point, there's been that many games I have actually gone through. I have to go through some lists of my stuff and consider it to make a decision. I feel like there's something that I wouldn't go through and it's round the tip of my tongue. And like anything can be fun enough if you play it with friends. There's also a really interesting thing here. Even before night, as you start heading back to Hyrule Castle here, even if it isn't night, the gate is drawn. The bridge gate is drawn, and the torches are lit. And as you approach Hyrule Castle, it gets darker like this. Storm clouds. Yeah, I really can't think. I mean, we're doing this for stream now, but at some point I would like to give it a proper Let's Play as well. Streaming this was actually kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. And I didn't want to just leave it off at one-off stream. Now it's raining. I wish it rained more often in Ocarina. Because it really does add atmosphere. But it'll never naturally rain. It's always an event if it's raining. Jeez, Impa, try not to run me down. That's one hell of an arm. Ganondorf. How could you lose her? She was going in a straight line. That way. Like, seriously, she was right in front of you. Welcome back, Bane. I love Ganon's theme. Really do. And I think like there's one thing this game gets right, and one thing that I'll actually detract Ocarina 3D for, it's this game does atmosphere better than Ocarina 3D did. And a lot of it has to do with lighting. Ocarina 3D has it's just brighter overall, and as a result, I think it does detract from a lot of the atmosphere. I'm Ganondorf, the man who beats up children. He goes away, it immediately stops raining and the sun comes back out. Which is particularly weird because it was night a minute ago. Like, seriously, it was night a minute ago. Alright, need to get the Ocarina. Oh, come on, I grabbed that. First try. You found the Ocarina of Time. He always takes the weather. Just got a rain cloud floating above him. Chrono, can you hear me? It's me, Zelda. I sound like this in your head. You hold the Ocarina in your hand. I'll be at the Jamboree. Won't be around anymore because I'll be at Jamboree. They have a buffet on tonight. I didn't want to miss it. While I'm gone, I need you to guard the Temple of Time. Use this melody to guard the Temple of Time while I'm gone. It's all you can eat. Impa didn't want to go, but I told her she had to. Generally, every time I do the a song for the first time in Ocarina of Majora, I try to do it at the proper tempo, but it's actually kind of difficult when the C buttons are mapped to an analog stick. You know, since I'm doing this for stream on the Virtual Console, maybe the Let's Play will be, like, actually on the 64. That'd be interesting. That'd be fun. Like I said, the video quality through the S video is actually quite nice. Just need to sort out that sound channel issue. And we just ditched the fairy ocarina that our childhood friend gave us, and we'll never see it again. And in fact, actually, let me do... Because if we play Saria's song, we can talk to her. Magically. And we talk to her now, and it's like... Your ocarina sounds different. What happened? No, I just ditched it. I just ditched your ocarina, it meant nothing to me. Now, before we actually go to the Temple of Time, there is something else I want to do that we need to do at some point, so I might as well do it now. Ah, I forgot about this as well. Because if we win this, we'll get the biggest seed bag. Alright. Now, when you play this as a child, the pattern is always fixed. Damn it. If you get 8 or 9, you get another try for free. And that can keep going if you just keep getting 8 or 9. Keep going until you actually get perfect, but as long as you keep getting 8 or 9, there's no limit on it. Damn it! One thing I'll definitely give to the 3D version, Ocarina 3D, is that this becomes so much more convenient when using the gyro controls. And I tell you, we get to Wind Waker, and I do Wind Waker HD, because I'm going to do Wind Waker HD at some point. I'm going to be using the gamepad for that, for the gyro controls. There we go, perfect. That said, I do also want to do the original Wind Waker at some point, so who knows? Maybe one will be a stream, one will be a Let's Play. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Seriously, like now is like the best time to pick up a Wii U, and there's actually a lot more good stuff on it than you think. It didn't sell well, and it's kind of a shame, though you can kind of understand why. The gamepad isn't honestly something that'll appeal to everybody. It has its problems. The fact that it comes with a small battery is stupid. So I forked out money for the bigger battery for the gamepad. And it turns out, like, because the bigger battery arrived, it's an official battery from Nintendo. Ultimedia doesn't know anything. Comes with a little screwdriver to unscrew the back of the gamepad. So I do it to swap the battery around, and the battery that's in there is actually fairly small. The battery that I got to replace it, that's supposed to last longer, is actually bigger and fully fits the slot. The original battery leaves a load of empty space, which suggests to me it was another example of Nintendo really cheaping out like they did with the original Wiimotes. There's more on Wii U than that should interest you, and a lot of it's cheaper than stuff on the Switch. Because like there is a bunch of stuff that's been ported to Switch now, like there's Mario, New Super Mario Bros. U, which is a really solid platformer. It's been ported to the Switch as New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and it's full price. I picked it up years ago on Wii U for £20 brand new. Because it was part of the Nintendo Select range, which was... It's the Nintendo version of, if you remember, Platinum, the Platinum label on PlayStation, which I know you do, Bane. Because you're a collector, you know about Platinum. So we need Din's Fire. But I got it for £20. And the Nintendo Select version of that game, also, it comes with the original game and what was originally DLC, New Super Luigi U. Comes with both on disc. £20 for the pair of them, brand new. That wasn't, oh yeah, we try to get rid of stock. That was the actual price Nintendo was selling them at. But then they put them on Switch. Nope, £50. Seriously? Right. What else is there? There's the Virtual Console. There's access to the Wii stuff. Although Nintendo did shut down the Wii shop, which is kind of sad. Especially since the Wii Virtual Console was like the best. But the Wii U is still like one of the best ways to play a lot of these older Nintendo games because the Switch Online stuff, the Switch Online app is honestly awful. As far as actual Wii games go, as far as actual Wii U games go, the original Mario Maker is really solid. I'm pretty sure it still has an online community. Mario Kart 8 was fine in its first incarnation. Brand new Platinum. I'm not sure what the price point for Platinum was back in the day, but I imagine it was probably a little bit higher than £10. The mask we just got is actually part of I think the second most extensive side quest of the game, but we're not going to be doing it yet. Maybe later. Spider-Man 2 and Electro is a decent game. I'm going to do that at some point. I'm drawing up a blank on the stuff I actually got on Wii U. I could pause this and we could go and take a look at it right now, but I don't want to do that because we are playing this on Wii U. The gamepad's actually a really cool idea, especially when you don't want to actually turn the TV on. Or if you want to go to the toilet. Project 05. That was the wrong one. Oh, I'm playing Zelda's Lullaby. I need to play Song of Time. I just kind of blanked there. The hammer fight in that game is essentially just the Rhino fight from the first game, but with guns. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is really solid. Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 are great. The Wonderful 101 is honestly really good. I've not played much of it because I want to do it blind for the channel at some point, but I did like the first 2 levels. It was actually really kind of cool. And the best way to describe it, honestly, was like Beautiful Joe crossed with Pikmin. And it was actually a lot of fun. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Also, a little thing here. Let me see, you can just... walk on here. There we go. Not about that for years. That's not an emulation glitch. The way that changed as we approached it, that happened in the original 64 version as well. No idea why. It happens every time as well. Let's back up and get it to happen again. But yeah, like, the Wii U is a system I recommend picking up, and now is probably like the best time to do it, because as we go forward, it's only going to get more expensive to pick stuff up for it. So look at that. That's weird. That's like a weird culling effect. And I've never seen one that's as noticeable as this. There we go, pull the Master Sword out. Yeah! But oh no! Turns out Big Ears was behind us the whole time. Like, seriously, you probably shouldn't just show like part of Ganondorf's head like that, because those ears are huge. Well, you see, there's the issue. You're going for the Mario Kart 8 edition. If you try and go for like a standard one, you might have more luck with it. Mine, I picked mine up back when there was still stuff coming out for the Wii U. And I got the limited edition Zelda one. I actually got it second hand for about 160, I think it was. I'm really happy with it, and the gamepad has the Hylian etching from Wind Waker on it, and I really love the design. It's really nice. But there's a bunch of good stuff on Wii U, and there's a bunch of good stuff you can do with the Wii U. If you check out the homebrew scene, loads of cool stuff. And even if you don't, there's good stuff on the Wii U. There's virtual console stuff. Nintendo were expanding it a little bit more towards the end of its life. It's probably the cheaper way to pick up Breath of the Wild. Smash 4 is really solid. You don't have to go for Smash Ultimate. So Ganondorf followed us. Like, this is an important story beat. Ganondorf followed us, and got into the Sacred Realm. And now, 7 years have passed. And here's something you're not supposed to think about. We weren't wearing tights before, and also now our ear is pierced. Thanks, Navi. The Master Sword is a sacred blade which evil ones may never touch. Only one worthy of the title of Hero of Time can pull it from the pedestal of time. But thankfully, when it goes into another pedestal, various other heroes can do it, thus making sure you are the only Hero of Time. We can refer to them as other ones, like the Hero of the Winds and the Hero of the Twilight, and also that guy from Link to the Past. Awaken as the Hero of Time, and also make sure you got the Hylian shield before this, or you won't have a shield you can use. Nanomachines, son. God, I should just do a stream of Rising. I love Rising. And like Metal Gear Solid's starting on Friday. I've said this a few times already. Metal Gear Solid is starting going up on Friday. But to get to Rising for the Let's Plays, got to go through 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because Rising takes place after 4. Want to do 4, got to have done 1, 2, and 3. Ugh. There is still hope. The power of the sages remains. All of the sages here are actually named after towns from Zelda 2. Which, if you played Zelda 2, will be a spoiler on who in the game are sages. That said, we've met 4 of the 5 sages we'll have to rescue. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, 4... I've only beaten Metal Gear Solid 4 once, and that was when I got my PS3, because Metal Gear Solid 4 was one of the games I got my PS3 for. Wondering how long it's going to be before Konami decides to put together some sort of Metal Gear Solid collection, so you can play all of them on modern systems. But I've only done 4 once. I started going through it again, maybe like 2 years later, and I think I only did like the first area. Not like the first screen, like the first area, the conflicts in the Middle East. I met up with Meryl. That was about as far as I remember. We're back in the Temple of Time. Survive is a game I have no interest in buying, but it is on Game Pass. So I've considered, do I want to do something with Survive while I'm not actually paying for it? Because if I leave it too long, I'll have to buy it, and I don't want to buy it. And it's not like there's a lot of people who are opposed to Survive's just existence because Kojima didn't make it, Konami made it after giving Kojima the middle finger. And it's like, yeah, I don't honestly care. If Survive had turned out to be a decent game, I'd have been interested. It came out and it wasn't. All the gameplay I've seen of that just says it's a crafting game that is incredibly boring and poorly done. And let's be fair, a lot of crafting games are boring to begin with. Goddess of the Sand. And if you've played Smash Brothers or looked at Smash Brothers at any point in the last Let's see. It would have been Melee, because I don't think Zelda was playable in the original. Then Zelda's location in this game will be immediately spoiled for you. Because Zelda is currently in hiding. Must go to the 5 temples and awaken the 5 sages. So Ocarina of Time has a bunch of cut content that's really interesting to consider. Like, originally the Temple of Time was supposed to be a dungeon, or the Temple of Light, or something. The Forest Temple was originally supposed to be wind-themed. I think the Ice Temple, I think the Ice Cavern was supposed to be a full dungeon at some point. Yeah, whatever. Don't put my Ocarina there, I don't like it there. Well, let's go and see the world. See how the world has changed in 7 years. 7 years. Gotta say, I do love the way they redesigned Temple of Time in Ocarina 3D, except for the giant Sheikah stone they have on the side there. It just kind of ruins it. But, like, visually, the Temple of Time looks amazing in Ocarina 3D. Well, there's a giant fire cloud over Death Mountain. That's probably not good. Yeah, you know, I don't want to do those temples, Bane. Puzzles irritate me. That was one of the biggest points that got me with Final Fantasy X. There's the point when God, it's not Macalania, it's during the wedding. I'm not going to say whose wedding because that'd be a spoiler. It's during the wedding when you're being chased and you all go into the temple and the entire thing just stops so you can solve a bunch of puzzles. There's no hurry or anything to it. It just stops so you can do a bunch of puzzles. But now we need to want to head to Longland Ranch before we go to Kakariko. That's Bevel Temple. That's fair enough. Because I know there was one you missed, and at least one. I only missed Macalania. So if we go in here, and we're not the only one who grew up in 7 years. Hey, Madeline. People in Castletown have gone, places have been ruined, monsters are wandering everywhere. Ganondorf is calling himself the King of Evil. I mean, it kind of seems... It seems kind of out there. Disobey Ingo, he'll treat the horses badly. The issue with that is if he treats the horses badly, what's the ranch doing? It's like, let me go back in. You have 2 cows. You treat the horses badly, they're going to be in a position where they can't actually do anything anymore. You've got 2 cows. You treat the horses badly, you're ruining your own business. Also, there are gates here now with Ingo's face on them. Something about this doesn't seem right. Ingo, my man, what's up? There are some people in Kakariko spreading rumors that I cheated Talon out of the ranch. But the King of Evil gave me the ranch. Imagine all of this being said in Luigi's voice and replace Talon with Mario and Ingo with Luigi. I don't want any strangers like you saying bad things about me. The great Ganondorf recognized my obvious talents and gave the ranch to me. Yeah, sure, I'll ride one of your horses. Yeah, I know Anima, Yojimbo, and the Major Sisters are optional. Macalania isn't optional, though, if I remember rightly. That's in the Guado village, isn't it? It's been a while since I've done Turn. I've got it on my Vita at the minute. I've been meaning to go through it again. So this is the horse. Yeah, I don't quite like this horse. It's not going that fast. There's another horse with a saddle over there. Epona! Yay! And Epona is just so much better to control. She runs faster. She makes the fences pop out of existence. Every now and then she will jump the fence. Okay, come on, if I get over that other fence, I'll get another 5 rupees, and that will make it so I haven't actually lost any money. There we go. What am I thinking of then? Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's been a long time. So what you want to do is, you do this twice. The first time, you just ride around for a minute. The second time, you do want to grab Epona. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab the those 10 rupees we spent again. We're going to get back on Epona. Boom. Grab those 10 rupees. Jump the fence. And now, the second time you do this, not grab the rupees. The second time you just go on in the horse ring. Talk to Ingo while you're on a horse, and he'll challenge you. 50 rupees. And you want to make sure you ride an opponent because the other horse cannot keep up with us. And Ingo's a dirty cheater, so you want to be very careful and try and get around the inside. Because he'll push you if you give him half the chance. Like, not push you off the horse, he'll push you out of the way. But thankfully, Epona's like the best horse. And it ain't that hard. I got the 50 rupees back. If I win, I can keep the horse. Yeah, right. Let's do this. 50 rupees and a horse? Totally. So this race is actually harder. And Ingo is definitely more aggressive this time. And also faster. But again, Epona is just a faster horse. Whatever you do not let your carrots run out, because you will fall behind. There's your problem, Ben. You're betting crooked odds. If you're with a bookie who knew his stuff, he'd know that Epona was the better breed. As promised, I'll give you the horse. However, you can never leave. You also can't get off until you actually figure out how to leave. Alright. You know what, while we're here actually, let's show off what happens when you hurt the chickens. If you hurt the chickens too much, this happens. And basically just running through one of them once with Epona will do it. And you essentially end up with a swarm of cuckoos who will just constantly deal damage to you. However, while you're on a pony, you are actually invincible, so that's why I did it now. Alright, so now we have to figure out how to get out of here. And there's an easy way to do this and there's a difficult way. And I want to get the difficult way because it looks cooler. There we go. Straight over that gate. The easy way is to jump over one of the fences on the sides. That gate's harder because there's actually a much smaller area for you to jump over. And sometimes Epona will just not do it. You can't actually die from the cows. I know the cows will damage you because I've had it happen once. That one time where I decided to knife a cow. And it hit me. But I would have thought that the damage could kill you if you were low enough on health. But yeah, now we've got Epona. I'm pretty sure Epona exists entirely to give you a way to get around Hyrule Field quicker. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason. While we're here, actually, you know what? We'll do a side quest. We'll do the side quest. Constantly stay on the final bar of health. Hey, Cuckoo Lady. The Pocket Cuckoo. I'm guessing she just suddenly shouted that at me. Okay, she said the cuckoo was kind of unhappy, and then she gives us an egg. It's like, how did she know it was unhappy if it's still in an egg? But yeah, I think we're actually going to do the big side quest now. This house is also built in the future. So same as the egg we got from Malon as a kid, what we want to do here is wait until morning. But thanks to having the sun song, we can just change the time. And bam, morning. And look who's here. It's Talon. So, wake him up. And now that we've taken Epona, Talon can go back to the ranch, and the ranch is all okay now. It's not necessary to do that, but it's a little added bonus. Then we talk back to the cuckoo lady. Looks pretty happy. Must have awakened an extremely lazy guy. Give you a rare, valuable cuckoo. His name is Kojiro. Its blue body is quite charming. It means it can run through rivers. Why give me your brother's cuckoo, though? Like, surely you're probably better off holding on to it until your brother comes back. Alright, but with this, we're effectively gonna... We're gonna do the big side quest now. Because it is possible, basically, from the minute you become an adult. And if you've played Link's Awakening, it's very similar to the big side quest in that game. It's another trading quest. And essentially what you do is you run all over Hyrule and trade items with a bunch of people. And for this one, we need to head to the Lost Woods. And it all begins with waking Talon up. Although you do want to make sure you've got Epona for this, because we are going to have to run backwards and back and forth all over Hyrule, across Hyrule Field. And there's no way you could make it on foot, because there are some timed parts of this. And as a hint, this is where you want to bring Kojiro. And you know, while I'm here, actually, it'd be worth me going into the Sacred Forest Meadow. Would it? Where am I going to end up? I'll end up on Death Mountain. No, it doesn't really matter, actually. I can take the shortcut back through Goron City. That's fine. Never mind. Here we go. Old hag in the potion shop. So we get the odd mushroom, and this is the first part of the quest that's timed. Gotta get to Kakariko Potion Shop in 3 minutes. There is actually a faster way here. If you plant a magic bean, there's a spot just off to the other side. If you plant a magic bean as a kid there and come back as an adult, it'll sprouted. And you can use it to fly straight over from over there, straight over this bridge. You can jump off the bridge and go straight in without having to run through Kokiri Forest. And it saves you like 10 seconds. Not overly necessary, but it makes things faster. That's it. It's not a difficult time to make, honestly. Oh yeah, we actually do need to do something in Kakariko as well. I forgot about that. Oh, this ain't great actually. Because it's night. So where we need to go isn't actually the standard potion shop, which is just there. It's the building behind it, which we usually need to go through that potion shop to get to. But since it's night, the standard potion shop is closed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that same trick I used to get the piece of heart as a kid. Damn it! I hope this doesn't run the time out. No, alright, quick, quick, quick. The time of it's just awkward. We'll still make it though. Yeah, you gotta head through this potion shop, through the back here. But at night, this potion shop's closed. And this is the other potion shop. Okay, give her the mushroom. Strongest medicine I've ever produced. Potion will not work on a monster though. No, I don't think this part's timed though. No, it's not. Okay. So yeah, while I'm here, heading to the graveyard to do what I actually need to do. So if you pay attention here, you may notice there's an extra grave that wasn't here when we were a kid. Turns out Dampé the Gravekeeper died. Yep. Now we need to. It's not actually a race. You don't have to beat him. You just have to keep up with him. And we've got to keep up with him. Don't run into the fire because for some reason you fall over. There's also a maze down here. I've never actually explored off the path here. I don't think I've ever lost Dampé, but I've never explored off the path. I think if you don't make it to those doors before they shut, you are actually walked back to the start. Oh, there. So watch out for those 2D images of fire. So once you've done this race and gotten the reward, if you come back and get through that in under a minute, you get a piece of heart for it. Yeah, I've seen that. If you read the same grave in the Game Boy Advance version, it says "Here lies Erdrick," which is a Dragon Quest reference instead. I'm guessing it was Link in the original US version. Probably because of space limitations. Like, limitations on how many characters they could have. And Erdrick being 7 letters. You know, in a game where you couldn't actually have a name longer than 4. You got the hook shot. Yeah, Erdrick being a name with 7 letters. In a game where you couldn't name your characters anything longer than 4 letters, and a lot of stuff was abbreviated. It makes sense that they put it as Link. You say it's only a year, but back in the NES, even back up to the PS1 and 64, a year wasn't actually. It was not uncommon for games to come out with a year difference. Like, you look at the Crash games, and Crash 1 was 96, Crash 2 was 97, Crash 3 was 98, Crash Team Racing was 99. I'm pretty sure the Sparrow games all had a year's difference. Like, even by the PlayStation era, a game coming out like a year later, still enough time to do something like that. 3 pieces. Might as well talk to this guy here. Never forget what happened on that day 7 years ago. So some kid with an ocarina did something to irritate him. Strange song. And this goes on to become like one of the most popular songs from this game. I think of like all the Ocarina songs in this game, this is the one that's been most heavily remade and replayed and reused and remixed. It's kind of weird. So yeah, you play the Song of Storms in the windmill, and for some reason it goes way faster. Alright, now back to the Lost Woods. Everybody we saw in Castletown as a kid is actually in Kakariko as an adult. But yeah, a year's turnaround time wasn't overly surprising back in the day. Look at the Mega Man games. Mega Man's 1 through 6 came out within like 8. Like, God, what was it? Mega Man 1 was 86, I think. 2 is 87, then 88, 89. 90, 91. I think Mega Man 6 might have been 90. It might have been 92 actually. Well, some series have just been going that long. The weird thing is when you consider how you consider the series that were going for a long time that have died now. I mean, consider Castlevania. Castlevania is about as old as Zelda and Final Fantasy, but it's dead now because Konami ain't gonna do anything new with it. Consider some of the stuff we really enjoy from some of these old systems, like stuff that never quite made the jump to 3D and thus died, or stuff that for some reason never made it to PS2. Can I backflip up here? That'd be cool. Oh. I mean, Medieval got 2 games on PS1 that were pretty successful, but then for some reason never came out on the PS2. It was weird. And then Sony had the team that made it do a remake on PSP for some reason. Alright, so here's actually one of the darkest things we never talk about with Ocarina. We get back here and the guy's gone, and in his place is one of the Kokiri. Anyone who comes into the forest will be lost. Everybody will become a Stalfos. So the idea is, if you go into the forest without a fairy, you become a Stalfos. And that's... Ugh. Yeah, Crash and Sparrow didn't really achieve the same kind of success. I think that's probably less. A lot of people will talk about the games after Naughty Dog and Insomniac respectively left those franchises as being not as good, which is true. But yeah, okay, that's creepy. But to be honest, I think it's more that the mascot platformer just kind of died after the PS1. And there's only really 2 exceptions to that, Mario and Sonic. Because Mario and Sonic kept going after that. And not much else really did. And there's a couple of games here and there that still managed to come out, but the mascot platformer as a popular thing just died after the PS1. I mean, people still obviously bought the Crash games like Wrath of Cortex and Twinsanity, and the Sparrow games like Enter the Dragonfly and Hero's Tale and the Legend of Sparrow trilogy. And he had other stuff that came out around that time like Tak and Tide the Tasmanian Tiger. And people were still buying them, but I think most people have just kind of written them off. Yeah, I think like most people are just kind of written off the platform, the mascot platform, by that point, which is kind of understandable because like throughout I'd say like the mid to late 16-bit era to the end of the PS1 era, mascot platforming was an oversaturated genre. That said, another possible reason, we've seen a massive push over the past 10, 15, 20 years to make gaming into less of a kid's thing and more of an adult's thing. Which, when you think about it, is a little bit weird. Especially with, like, I've known a bunch of people who have worked in and run game shops, and they always consider games actually aimed at kids that are decent to be pretty valuable. In like the recent generations. Okay, so I want to bring the poacher saw to this guy. But yeah, like games actually aimed at kids to be pretty valuable, and a lot of the stuff that you get these days isn't kid friendly. A lot of kids play the stuff, like a lot of kids will play Grand Theft Auto or stuff like Call of Duty and various other things, Assassin's Creed, and they're not for kids. They really aren't. But kids play them because what else is there? And so you end up with a solid game that's good for kids, like, God, I don't know, like the Lego games. Probably a big part of the reason why Lego's done so well. And they are considered pretty valuable. Because somebody will probably come in looking for a game that kid can play that they don't have to worry about. And I think a lot of this is at least partially due to the change in approach. A lot of developers and publishers push for the they push for more mature games for no real reason. Well, you say there wasn't a lot of 3D platformers, and I'd say that's not entirely true. The PS1 did have a bunch of its own. It's just that a lot of them never got the traction or like the huge boost in popularity that the 64 stuff did. Because Crash and Spyro were huge. And I think Spyro was certainly helped by Crash. With stuff like the demo in Crash 3 for the first Spyro and that. But on the 64, it's not that there was more platformers, it's that a lot of the games you heard about that were worth playing on the 64 were platformers. Because what did the PlayStation have? It had everything. You wanted an RPG? Oh, well, there's Final Fantasy VII, or there's Wild Arms, or there's your Legend of Dragoon, there's your Suikoden, there's your Breath of Fire 3. You want something a little bit different? Oh, hey, Metal Gear Solid just come along and has done something we've never really seen before in the West. It's a stealth game with a huge focus on narrative. And meanwhile, like, while the PlayStation had all this cool stuff and some more mature games, like you had your Legacy of Kain and stuff like that, the 64 really just had platformers. It's like, even if we just look at Rare, who were responsible for a lot of the biggest 64 games in the day, Rare did a bunch of stuff. You had stuff like Diddy Kong Racing and your Blast Corps and your Killer Instinct Gold and your GoldenEye and your Perfect Dark, but you also have to remember they put out a bunch of platformers on the system as well. Your Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, what was the other one? DK64, and then there's Mario 64. And I think a lot of it is more that there was just... It's not that there were less platformers, there were probably more 3D platformers. There were just less you heard about because the PlayStation had so much more than the 64 did. Meanwhile, a lot of the big stuff you heard about on the 64 was just platformers. That's my opinion on the whole thing, at least. I don't have the bow. I have the bow, yeah, I just want to be careful taking these sculptures out because the hookshot's range isn't great. Yeah, whatever. Can I get that? Yes, I can. Awesome. It's not called Colina. I promise you that. Klonoa. Rascal's bad. Pandemonium I never liked. But I do know people who did. Fun fact, Chris mentioned it to me the other day, specifically Pandemonium, when I was talking to him about some stuff. But Pandemonium and Klonoa are both 2D style. If I was going to compare them with anything on the 64, it'd be like Kirby 64 or Mischief Makers. Rayman 2 is a fairly good example because the PS1 version is arguably the worst. I think it was originally. I know you still spelled it wrong. I think originally the 64 version was the first version of Rayman 2 to come out. And I want to go in here first. The PlayStation version was a port, and it was a bad port. I know it's impossible to get 100% in the PS1 version of Rayman 2. And Croc isn't great, honestly. It's like you say, it's okay at best. But I know there's stuff we're both forgetting. Damn it, I can't go in through this route. You know what? There's a piece of heart right there. But yeah, there are examples, honestly, that I can't think of. That's better. I'll have to get the Bolero file later. But no, I stand by what I said. Like, I think a lot of it is a lot of the biggest stuff you heard about and still hear about with the 64 was platformers. Well, it's what are some of the best games on 64? Mario 64, Banjo. A lot of people like Conker's Bad Fur Day. And you hear a lot of complaints about. Ape Escape is actually pretty good. Its biggest problem is that the right analog stick is essentially a gimmick. But as its own game, Ape Escape's actually a pretty solid game. And there's a reason it got 2 sequels. God knows what the reason is that it didn't get any more. I didn't get around to doing Ape Escape 3. So I finally got it. Yeah, DK64. A lot of people talk about DK64 badly these days, which kind of surprises me. But then you actually you hear the reasoning for it, and a lot of it seems to be the massive overabundance of collectibles. And it's like, yeah, that's fair enough. It's ridiculous. But it's like you think of how many games on 64 you hear about that aren't platformers, and you've got you can push it with some of them. Ocarina and Majora's Mask, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, maybe. Because I guarantee you never hear about any of the other. You know what? The fastest way to set this up will be over here. Like, you never hear about any of the rare games. You cannot turn around to me and tell me you hear people regularly talk about Blast Core or Killer Instinct Gold or Jet Force Gemini. Every now and then, maybe, but people don't regularly talk about it. And so after that, it's like Ocarina, Majora's Mask, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party. And it comes down to a lot of Nintendo first party stuff that's still part of these series. That Mario stuff is still based on your platformers, which is the reason why they're popular. Star Fox 64 is another exception. It's a good exception. But again, It's one of the few exceptions. No, I don't want that. I'll push maybe Paper Mario, but a lot of people will forget Paper Mario. But yeah, no, I do think a lot of it comes down to when you think back to all these. I'm gonna need the bloody fire to thaw. God damn it! I'm gonna have to do the ice cavern. Pretty sure I can do ice cavern without the bow. I do think a lot of it comes down to the PlayStation. Its biggest strength was that it just had so much, and it had so much variety. There was something for everyone on PlayStation, and I think that's why you don't generally think about the PlayStation's platform as anywhere near as much. I mean, you think about PlayStation games, and depending on the person, so much different stuff will come up. Some people will talk about Metal Gear Solid, some will talk about your Final Fantasy, some will talk about God, what else came out? Dude, nobody talks about the first Rogue Squadron. Do not try and lie to me like that. Nobody talks about Duke Nukem 64 unless they talk about Duke Nukem as a series. Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, fair enough. Nobody talks about Pokemon Stadium, people talk about Pokemon Snap. People talk about how we need another Pokemon Snap. You know, PlayStation, depending on who you talk to, you'll end up with so many different answers on what's on there. Like, you'll get your Final Fantasies and your... God damn it. Come on, grab it. Like, you get your Final Fantasies, you get your Metal Gear Solid. Some people will say something like Siphon Filter. Some people will turn around and say Suikoden. Oh, come on, I grabbed that. Some people will turn around and say Nightmare Creatures, Medieval, your Crash, your Spyro, Resident Evil. Depending on who you ask, you get so many different answers on what some of the best games on PlayStation were. Point Blank, Time Crisis, Tekken. Yeah, don't worry, I already said Resident Evil before you put that up. Or before. Yeah, no, I said it before you put that up, yeah. You got your Tekken. Some people might say Soul Edge. Some truly sick and depraved people might say Battle Arena to Shinden. Dear God, Battle Arena to Shinden. Ugh. But like, the big point is, like, so many different answers you can get from the PlayStation. You ask about the 64, Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, maybe Kirby. I'd say these guys out quick before they have a chance to shoot the breath because it'll freeze me. Yeah, possibly Smash on 64, possibly Mario Party, but a lot of it is going to be platformers on 64. Like I say, it's a lot of what the 64 did, and it didn't do that much else. Because while the PlayStation did everything and did a lot of everything, the 64 did platformers and not a lot of anything else. And I say this like as somebody who has more of a connection to the 64 than you do. I don't hate the 64. I think it's a really solid system. Do I? Hmm. It's got some good games on it. Well, the point is, like, you talk to people about either console and what games they'll bring up as some of their favourites that they played. And your 64 stuff is going to be primarily platformers. Whereas your PlayStation stuff is going to have so much more variety. So it's not that PlayStation didn't have the 3D platformers, it's that the 64 just had the 3D platformers is a lot of the thing you like. The thing you really just saw. You didn't see much else on there. I mean, even talking about just platformers in general on PlayStation, you brought up a bunch. Yeah, a bunch of them weren't particularly good, but you know, there's Croc, Ape Escape, Rayman, Rayman 2. And then, like, compare genres. Like, what did the PlayStation have in horror? Well, you know, we could say that, but what did the 64 have in horror? Well, you know, it only really had Resident Evil 2, which was a PlayStation port, and Shadow Man. I mean, you name another horror game on Nintendo 64. RPGs, Paper Mario, and Quest 64, and that's it. And Quest 64 isn't good, and Paper Mario is not complicated. It's a very simple RPG. It's not a bad thing, but when that's all there is, it's not great. I hate Ice Key so much. And doing this without the bow makes them so much harder to hit. Alright. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do now, actually, is get rid of these 3 fairs. Because this will make it so I don't need to backtrack as much. Yeah, like I say, it's just... The PS1 just had more variety. Your platformers were there, you just saw less of them because there was other stuff. Knew I was going to get hit by that. God damn it. Okay, put one here. And then grab another one on the way out just in case. Well, all we're actually here for is the blue fire to Thor the King Zora. But while we're here, we might as well actually get what we need from the ice cavern, otherwise I'm coming back to do this again. Suck it, Ice Keys. Ugh. You know, going back to the original point, though, of platforms being in decline as well, I think it's also worth noting that Is it this way that I want? I think it is, yeah. It's worth noting that a lot of games at the time also had a lot of platforming elements, even if they weren't platformers. Platforming elements were the RPG elements of the day. Like now, everything has RPG elements. Back then, everything had some kind of platforming in it. And so after that, I think part of it may be as well that people were kind of tired out from platforming. You know, just a possibility, but you know, one worth considering. Because like you think of a lot of the games you played back then, and how many of them had platforming elements. It's like we're talking Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire. A lot of platforming elements. You could argue the platforming is the weakest thing about that game in hindsight. But it had them. Castlevania 64 had them. Duke Nukem had them. Alright, so I want it over there. Yeah, I'm working this out. No, grab the damn thing. You know, I'm tired of RPG elements and everything. As somebody who enjoys RPGs, I'm tired of RPG elements and everything. Everything having a leveling system and all that crap. And in a bunch of cases, all it's really meant is just grinding. Everything's become so grindy these days. Like I got Assassin's Creed Origins, and the game is so boring, but also it's pretty damn grindy because they've introduced a leveling system to it. And you know for a fact that's not for the player. That's not to extend. It's not to increase the player's enjoyment, make the player have more fun by spending longer with the game. It's for grind. And so you get one of two things from the grind with that. You get either the player feels like the money spent has been justified because, oh, the game took this long to do. Or you end up with, well, the player got sick of the grind and spent money on the boosters that we offer that cut down the grind. I don't know if I talk about it much on stream, but or even in the Let's Plays. I am kind of tired of the way gaming's going with a lot of this. And it does make me glad that I'm still totally happy to go back to some of these older games to play them, where they don't have a lot of this crap. That's not going to work. I think it's this way. I mean, when I think about it, what's the most modern game I've done? Doom, maybe? Did Doom on the casual stream. That's not where I want to be. Alright, I know where I need to go. It's either Doom or it's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which I have coming up. I'll be going up after Spyro. And to be honest, I did that game for two reasons. One, it's free on Game Pass. I wouldn't have actually bought that game. And 2, it had a story mode that I was kind of interested in seeing. And the story mode was alright. I'm not going to say much more about it because I have a full Let's Play of it coming up. Well, beyond that, I mean, the stuff I've done for the channel, start with Sympathy Tonight, we did Resident Evil 4, we did Metroid Zero Mission, Spider-Man on PS1. God damn it. Seems like it doesn't matter what game I play, my sword just keeps bouncing off walls regardless. What else is there? Sands of Time, Spyro. I'm currently doing Ocarina and Eternal Darkness for stream. Dark Souls was a last generation game. Did that on stream. Final Fantasy 7 came out in 97. Did that on stream. I don't know, even today. Like, it's not like I don't own a lot of modern games and a lot of current generation games, but I don't know. I spend a lot of time on the older stuff for a reason. And it isn't nostalgia because I spend time going through older stuff that I never played. You know, I can't really blame you. Assassin's Creed is not for everyone to begin with. Black Flag is really good, with one major issue. The really good part is the pirate ship. It's an excellent pirate game. It spends way too long not being a pirate game. Once you get onto land, it is probably one of the most boring Assassin's Creed games. There's so many tailing missions, there's so much wasted time doing nothing. Go here, follow this person here, tail this person, walk with this person. I've not played Bloodlines. I did, as far as Assassin's Creed goes, a similar thing to Kingdom Hearts. I tried to pick up the first one when I got a PS3, couldn't find it, so I grabbed 2 instead and played through 2 and really enjoyed that. 2 is a good game. I do want to go through 2 for the channel at some point. And then did Brotherhood, and Brotherhood was a game I enjoyed, but the ending left such a bad taste in my mouth that I just skipped Revelations. And then 3 came out, and 3 had a completely new setting that sounded kind of interesting. It was colonial America during the Revolutionary War. It was kind of interesting. So I did that, and 3 is decent enough. It suffers from, God, what would be the proper word? A lack of identity. It doesn't know what it wants to do. And Black Flag is a solid pirate game, but as an Assassin's Creed, it's probably one of the most boring. I played through Unity, and it was really boring. And like the fact that they managed to make the French Revolution boring is kind of bad. And then I played Syndicate, and Syndicate played well. If there was one complaint to have with it, it's that it's kind of easy. But also that there's no interest in the characters. I don't like any of the characters. I don't feel any real investment in any of them. When it came down to it, I was into Syndicate entirely for the setting. Because Syndicate is Victorian London. And as someone who lives in England, you can still see a lot of Victorian architecture around. It's still a big part of our culture and society. And so that was actually really appealing to me. Yeah, I can't take off the boots when you're talking to me. But I don't know. I mean, like I say, I want to do Assassin's Creed 2 for the channel at some point. Is it this way I want to go? I think it is. Yeah, alright. But whether Assassin's Creed 2 will hold up for me or not, I don't know. Now that I've had like more than my fill of that gameplay, but then maybe I'll go back to it and find 2's relative simplicity compared to some of the later ones to be really refreshing. And like then, after Syndicate, I did eventually pick up Origins, and Origins is so boring. I'm not interested in the Egyptian setting. The main character, has not made himself appealing at all. And you know what? That's probably a bad way to say it. The main character has not been made appealing to me at all in a lot of ways. Like, oh yeah, no, you start off on in a vendetta, and it's all very confusing. A bunch of cutscenes happen. You stab somebody without really knowing who or why, and then you're in a fight with someone. And then, like, 2 hours later, you find out why you're hunting down a bunch of people and killing them. It's like, that's probably something you should have opened with. Because one thing I'll give Assassin's Creed 2, it spends the time to characterize Ezio. You go from Ezio's birth, through his childhood, his teenage years, into the horrible events that make him an assassin, lead him to become an assassin, and onwards. And it's all well done. And 2 is the biggest comparison point I bring up with whenever I talk about why I didn't enjoy Origins and why I've not played it more than that. Like, by the time Origins introduced the motivation for the character, I didn't care. I already decided I didn't like him. Meanwhile, 2 spends the time introducing you to the character, the family, the backstory, the reason they're there. It does all of this, and then the tragedy happens that drives Ezio towards becoming an assassin. And by that point, you care. If Origins had done a similar thing, it's like, oh, why does Bayek want to kill these people? Oh, well, they essentially tricked him into killing his own son because he's an idiot. It's like, that's great to learn that after 2.5, 3 hours of following this character around, not really understanding who this character is, not really liking this character because he comes off as kind of a dick. And then on top of that, finding the gameplay to be kind of dull, and the leveling system to be really not fun. Like, it's a grindy level system, and it is one of the best examples I can think of a level system that feels like it exists entirely to waste your time. I'll totally agree. I'll follow a franchise, but I am never committed to enjoying the individual games. And while we're on Zelda, let's take an example of that. I enjoy the Zelda series. I don't enjoy all the games. Let's say I am probably kinder to a lot of the Zelda games than a lot of people are. Like, you find a lot of hate for Twilight Princess, and I'm like, Twilight Princess is a decent game. That's the Final Fantasy. So I enjoy the Final Fantasy series. I don't enjoy all the games. I didn't enjoy 13. I want to give it another shot because, you know, well, the main reason for that is, honestly, it was Arkham Knight. I think I've been over this before. I didn't really enjoy Arkham. I came away from Arkham Knight the first time with like a taste in my mouth. But then I ended up replaying it a few years later, and I came away from it a lot happier. I thought, like, what else could I have a better opinion of if I gave it a second chance? Which is why I want to do 13 again. I want to do 12 again because I didn't enjoy that the first time. It's why I quit and didn't finish it. But my tastes have changed, evolved. I may enjoy the gameplay style of 12 more now. It's not. I don't remember anything in particular about it making it a bad game. I just didn't enjoy it. Meanwhile, I think Final Fantasy 2 is a bad game. I think Final Fantasy 15 was a disappointing game. I also don't like a lot of Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 leaves a lot unexplained, and it turns out that a lot of it's explained in DLC, and that immediately just puts me in a bad mood. Because it really says to me that the game came out unfinished. These important characters didn't get actual character arcs or conclusions to the character arcs. You never saw them grow as characters. They're just here 1 minute and then they disappeared. What happens to them? Find out in the DLC. It says to me that it was unfinished, pushed out the door before it was ready, and that they wanted to make extra money out of it. Because 15 also got a bunch of updates for story content. Like, since I finished 15, I didn't pick up 15 at launch. But since I finished 15, which was a year or so after it came out, like, since I did it, there were updates after that added story content. And it's like, you know, if you're adding story content after the game came out, you probably shouldn't have put it out when you did. What other series are there? Mario's a good one. I enjoy Mario 1. I do not enjoy Lost Levels. I think it's a bad game. Mario 2's decent. 3's solid. I do really enjoy World. 64's solid. I enjoy Sunshine to a point, but then it gets to a point where I don't enjoy Sunshine anymore. I enjoy half of Sunshine. Odyssey was really good. What time are we on? Because I'm feeling a little burnt out, actually. Still got another 45 minutes. I thought it'd been later than that. We're going to get through the Forest Temple at this point. Yeah, I know your opinion on Kingdom Hearts 3. I appreciate you not telling me too much of your opinion on Kingdom Hearts 3, because I'll get to it eventually. But I know your opinion on 3. 358 over 2 days, I don't dislike, honestly. I think, technically, it's a very impressive game. And I'm still honestly torn on whether or not I want to do 358 over 2 days for the channel, or just do the movie version on the HD collection. But as far as Kingdom Hearts goes for me, I'm not fond of 1, but I think a big part of the problem with that is I played 2 first, and 2 plays way better. It was a thing, I was going through Kingdom Hearts a few years back with the HD collections to actually go through them, and I did Kingdom Hearts 1, and I enjoyed it more than I did my first time. But I still felt it was inferior to 2. And I wasn't overly into it. I did read Chain of Memories, and Read Chain of Memories is a fucking awful game. And anybody who apologises for that game is a fool. I came away from Read Chain of Memories thinking, do I just not like Kingdom Hearts anymore? Did I outgrow it? And then I started playing 2 Final Mix, and it was like, oh wait, no, 2 Final Mix is still really damn good. It's just Rechaining Memories is crap. And Birth by Sleep, I think, is a solid game. My biggest problem with Birth by Sleep is it's that you have to restart the game. You start the game 3 times as you play as all 3 characters, and that's so draining to me, honestly. There we go. Like, it's really draining to me because, like, you start the game, you finish it, and it's like 10-15 hours to finish the story, and then you start the game again with another character, and you're back to level 1, which may not be so much of an issue, but like level 1, you gain the movement abilities in Kingdom Hearts, and going back to level 1 means you're moving slower. You can't move as well. You can't fight as well. Your combos are shorter because of it. You move slower. You can't. I don't think you start with the dodge. And having to do that 3 times to finish the game was just. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll agree. The mission idea, I know why it is for the DS. Honestly, the mission idea for the DS, and it works as a handheld thing so that you don't spend. Yeah, I'm gonna go and get the Bolero of Fire actually and come up through the. Oh, I can't. I need the bloody hammer. Damn it. Yeah, it's like the mission stuff and giving you the option for regular saves, regular turn off. It's a smart design from Square, honestly, for the handheld. It takes ages to get started. I'll give it that. I remember that, but it's been a long time since I went through 358 over 2 days. It's a game I do want to play again. And yeah, no, I agree with you. I was very moved by the ending. It was one of the best stories Kingdom Hearts had, and I think it's pretty much entirely because the story was self-contained. And Kingdom Hearts did eventually end up with the same problem Metal Gear Solid had. With Metal Gear Solid, you can play Metal Gear Solid 1, you can play Metal Gear Solid 2, you can play Metal Gear Solid 3. But if you want to play 4, you have to have played all 3 of those. And it's a problem, like, you can play Kingdom Hearts 1 on its own. You need to have played Chain of Memories to understand Kingdom Hearts 2. You done? Awesome, thank you. And that's the big side quest of the game where we get the big Oran sword out of it, which is the strongest weapon. Nice. Alright, so let's head to the woods. Yeah, to understand 2, you need to have played Chain of Memories. But then Birth by Sleep is its own standalone game. You can play it without any others, and you'll understand it fine. 358 over 2 days can be a little bit confusing, but playing it on its own isn't so bad because it focuses on the characters that are introduced. And the important part is, like, yeah, Axel and Roxas are introduced in 2. Axel was introduced in, well, they were both introduced in Chain of Memories. But the way they are in Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days works on its own. It doesn't require another. Is it this one I'm after? Yeah, it is. Damn it. Like, it works as its own thing because the game is so focused on the characterization of Roxas and Axel interacting with each other and with Xion, as opposed to Chain of Memories, where Axel's just kind of weird, kind of mysterious, doing his own thing, and Roxas only appears as a cameo. God damn it. Or Kingdom Hearts 2, where Roxas appears, but Roxas also has a completely different personality than he does in 358 over 2 days because of the events of 358 over 2 days. There we go. And Axel's just really creepily trying to bring Roxas back to the organization. I think 358's story stands up on its own because of the focus on Axel and Roxas' friendship and the friendship with Xion. But then, Birth by Sleep stands up on its own because it's a prequel, which is good. It always works like that. Dream Drop Distance, no, you need to have played, I think, all of them up to that point to understand it. And then, of course, 3, you need to have played all of them plus all the other stuff. You need to have played Recoded, I'm pretty sure, for 3. You need to have done... What was that? The mobile game thing. And it becomes the problem that Metal Gear Solid 4 had on a much greater scale. But yeah, I mean, I can do Kingdom Hearts 3.5 over 2 days. And it's possible that I will, because the movie doesn't really get across a lot of the stuff. Because a lot of it is just told through a quick text recap. I'm not sure if I'd ever do Recoded. Yeah, no, back to the point that you made, though. It's like, yeah, you can be a fan of the series, you don't have to like every game. And I think liking every game, despite its flaws, isn't a bad thing, but demanding that every game is great, despite the flaws, blinding yourself to the flaws is a bad idea. And it's not something I ever really do. I'm very aware of a lot of flaws games have. Even games that I love or want to love. Like Bloodstained came out, Ritual of the Night, and I'm playing it. And it started off really well. And as I've gone into it, a lot of it's kind of fallen apart. And while at this point I do think it is a solid follow-up to the older Castlevanias, there are still a bunch of complaints I have with it, and it's not a perfect game. It's not a bad game. It's not a perfect game. It has problems. I said it has bloody technical problems. For the love of God, fix the damn game. Castlevania had problems. I'm a big Castlevania fan. But a bunch of them had problems. Symphony of the Night. A lot of people will tell you Symphony of the Night is one of the best games ever. Symphony of the Night's second half is incredibly boring and poorly put together. You say 2.8, do you mean, what was it, 0.2? Whatever they called it, the fragmentary passage thing? In general, I wasn't thinking about that when I mentioned that stuff. I was thinking about the movie that's included with 2.8, which I assume is probably important because, you know, everything's important for some reason. You gotta pick up that with Terra, yeah. You mean Aqua? Yeah. That one game where Xemnas nips to the shop for a bottle of milk is really important. That pops up in Kingdom Hearts 3. Turns out the milk went bad, and that's why Xemnas lost his memory. Jeez. But no, we'll see. Honestly, I never did finish Recode. I think I played it for like an hour. I don't think I really did beyond that. So I think if I'm gonna do anything with Recoded, I should actually play it myself to decide whether or not I want to go through the game or just do the movie. As it is, it's still a toss-up for 3.5 over 2 days. It's gonna all depend on how I feel. I can understand that. Although they are separate in my head. Not entirely sure how to describe how I think of it. So they are separate in my head, mostly just because I have the two ideas. Oh, hey, Mido. They're separate in my head, mostly because they're two separate parts. If they'd ever introduced Final Fantasy VI Terror into Kingdom Hearts, it would have been confusing. But they didn't. It's probably a good thing, because when they introduced Setsu, they ruined him. So as far as Zelda goes, going back to Zelda for a brief minute, as far as the Zelda goes, this is the only place in the game where moblins appear. Moblins are a common Zelda enemy that appear in almost every other game. This is the only place they appear in Ocarina. And they are, I think, like the only enemy you cannot Z-target. So you can't Z-target them, you cannot get information on them. Because any enemy you Z-target, Navi will tell you the name of. But these guys you can't. They also die to one hit from the hookshot. There we go. Well, the Tina to Terra thing was supposedly because they wanted a name that sounded a little more exotic, which, I'm fine with Terra as a name. I've heard... Yeah, damn it. I've heard bad name changes from Japanese to English. Terra's fine. The calling Squall Leon was a weird thing. It's like, oh yeah, no, until as part of his shame for not being able to protect Hollow Bastion, he refuses to be called Squall anymore. He's forsaken the name until he can restore Hollow Bastion or some crap like that. It's like, really? That's stupid. And also, then you restore Hollow Bastion. God damn it. Well, Reina, I don't think is too bad, honestly. When we were going through Final Fantasy V on PlayStation, Reina, I didn't think was a bad change. So, so if we'll go through a bunch of the Final Fantasy name changes like that. Because Reina, I think, does still sound good. Reina to Lena isn't necessarily so bad. Aerith to Eris is awkward, and I would have preferred they either keep it as Eris or get it right the first time and call her Aerith. Because the problem, and I'm pretty sure I brought this up during the Final Fantasy VII stream, it was difficult to get around calling Aerith Aerith because it constantly felt like I was saying Aerith. It constantly felt like I was saying Eris with a lisp. Constantly felt like I was saying Eris with a fake lisp, and I didn't like it. Is it Richard or is it Rickard? I forget that. But it is weird. Richard to Gareth. Gareth might be a little more exotic, I don't know. It's probably less common than Richard. I don't know, maybe that was something about... Didn't want to call the Dragoon Dick. Because you know there's innuendos to come out of that. Quick, Dick. Impale that dragon with your mighty lance. You know what people are like. What time are we on? About 25 too. We are not going to get the Forest Temple done in 25 minutes. I very much doubt. I'm not confident of that. Well, I have heard Puckman to Pac-Man. I don't think that was changed for the West. I think it was Pac-Man in Japan as well. And I've heard that's because Puckman was too easy to vandalize into something else. But I've also heard that might be an urban legend, and it's not actually true. But it's like with video games. There's so many different urban legends with a lot of these things. How do you know anything these days about a lot of the old stuff? I mean, there was that one bit that went around for years that Shigeru Miyamoto called Donkey Kong because he had intended to call him Monkey Kong, and there'd just been a mistranslation or something like that. But then it did come out a few years back, I think it was, that no, he was actually looking for an English word that meant stubborn. Oh, I could imagine it happening, yeah. And that's what makes a lot of these believable. Like the Monkey Kong thing. Alright, so I think we'll call Ocarina there. But we've still got some time left, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually switch games. So yeah, let's switch games and play something else for a little bit. We did Mario Kart 64 last time, but there is other stuff. You know what, I have a good one. I don't know if I've played this on stream before.
Sega.
Let me change this actually. I know I did mention it at some point. Like I say, really solid racing game. Kart racing game. Brilliant alternative to Mario Kart. And I do have a few friends that definitely prefer it to Mario Kart. It plays well, the items don't play as big a role in Mario Kart. Don't play as big a role as they do in Mario Kart. And one of the biggest issues you can have with playing Mario Kart is the way, like, through a bad combination of items, you can end up from first to last. Pretty much right in front of the finish line, and it's not uncommon. And you can guarantee that will not happen in this game. The drifting feels really good. This is just a really good game, honestly. And if you can pick it up somehow, it's well worth getting. That's not how boats work, Sonic. If there's any complaint I'd have with this game, it would be the over-focus on Sonic.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformer.
It's like, yeah, no, I get Sonic is Sega's major franchise, but I've not played this on Wii U before.
Select a mode. Career. Select a career mode.
I get Sonic is Sega's major franchise.
Select a cup. Dragon Cup. Choose your
But you know, you've got all the stuff.
B-Class. Character select.
I mean, look how many Sonic characters are available from the start. Metal Sonic's actually DLC. But then, like, for other series like II, the only one that represents Monkey Ball, Beat. I think there's somebody else who represents Jet Set Radio. Ooh La La, who's the only one who represents Space Channel 5. Oh no, you have Mimi here. Do you have any other? And then BD Joe, who represents Crazy Taxi. Alex Kidd was released as a post-launch update. I was like, you know, come on, guys. You've got more than Sonic. Show off more. It's like, I'm super happy that Vice is an unlockable character from Skies of Arcadia. Where is Vice? I forget. Yes, Yakuza is definitely on the list, honestly. partly because it's a series I need to spend more time with. So at this point, what do I got? I have Yakuza 1, 2, 4, 5. No, I don't have 6 yet. 1, 2, 4, 5, Dead Souls, Kiwami, and 0. I have 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 0, Kiwami, Dead Souls. 6? I have a bunch of the Yakuza games, and I need to spend more time with them, and the LPs are basically for that.
Knuckles.
But yeah, while I'll complain a bit about the overfocus on Sonic here, like, this game is honestly fantastic. It's really underrated. It plays well. It looks very good. I have no idea why the first track representing Sonic is from Sonic Heroes, but I like Sonic Heroes, so I'm okay with that.
Go.
Oh, it's wondering what the actual drive button is there. So let's restart that now that I know which button I want to press.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
I need to figure out the buttons because I've not done this on Wii U before. It's X. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, the items aren't going to make or break a game. They can help you get ahead, or they can lead to you going behind, but they will not break the game for you. And I really like that. A lot of it does come down to skill.
Way to go.
And the drift system is really good. I love the transformation mechanic, because it adds a lot. It's like one of my biggest problems for a while. One of my biggest problems for a while with racing games is circuits get boring to me. You're just going around the same track in just like 3 times. The Master Emerald. Oh god, they brought back the rap. There we go, I got the drift down. But yeah, a lot of the tracks will change between laps. And now we're going completely different direction, different area. I love it, it's brilliant. It keeps the races lively, keeps them from getting dull and repetitive. God, I needed to pick one direction there. Just pick a direction, Shaun, come on.
Twister.
I'm not gonna make it. Damn it.
Finish. Good going. Third place.
I got this game on Vita.
Fail.
What was it? I picked up my Vita and I spent most of my money at that month on the Vita. And what did I have?
A-class.
It came with Tearaway and Little Big Planet for the Vita, and I don't like the Little Big Planet.
Go.
So I'm playing Tearaway, waiting till I get some more money, and I check out some of the demos that they have for the Vita. One of them, Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed. I play it, and it's actually pretty good. You bitch.
Firework. Long shot.
And I play it, and it's actually pretty good. And then that probably would have been the end of it. but I ended up I get paid again, and I can buy some more games for it. And I go to the game shop, and there's one game I have in mind, and it's Persona 4 Golden. Because you're damn right it was. Yeah, damn it. And while I'm there, they also have Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. It's £12. It's an import, so they're selling it for less because a bunch of people just won't buy imports for some reason. So I pick it up, and so at that point I have 3 games on my Vita because I got rid of Little Big Planet because I didn't like it. Never liked Little Big Planet. There we go. And so at that point I have Persona 4 Golden, Tearaway, and Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. And so I play the crap out of them. And I spent a lot of time on Sonic and All-Stars. I got all the races, did all the tracks. I think I finished career mode, actually. Damn it, Alex Kidd. Damn it. And I had a lot of fun with it. And it's definitely a racing game I will swear by. Time we on. Yeah, I should probably put this on a lower difficulty so I can actually get this done. And, I mean, I guess I'm kind of disappointed that Sega's next racing game they decided would be all Sonic. It's like Team Sonic Racing. It's like, when like a big part of the appeal, visually and design-wise for this was the Sega part, rather than just the Sonic. You had a variety of different tracks from different ideas and styles and aesthetics. It's like you got your Sonic tracks, then you've got your Jet Set Radio tracks, which are in the future. You got your Golden Axe tracks, which are in fantasy. I think the Golden Axe track is actually in around a volcano, which is really cool. You got your Skies of Arcadia track, which is fantastic. Honestly, really do love it. And there's a lot of variety, visually, aesthetically, and it's great. There we go. And so going straight to just Sonic from that just honestly didn't appeal to me. And in cross, I've always been big. I've always made big arguments in crossover games of an over focus on one particular franchise. It's like in a lot of the Capcom versus games, there's a lot of Street Fighter there. And Capcom's got a lot more than Street Fighter. They need to pull back on all the Street Fighter there. And thankfully they have with a lot of the more recent... Damn it. A lot of the more recent versus games, they've pulled back on the Street Fighter. And I think... God damn it. I think that's less about wanting to diversify, more that Capcom just has more recognizable stuff these days. And it's like, you know, you've got all this stuff. The big part of the crossover is all the stuff you can have, rather than just focusing on one thing. It's like one of the big complaints I came away from Smash 4 with which we could take a look at actually. So I do have all the DLC. You know what? It's been a while. Let's have a quick look at Smash 4. How long we got left? We got a bit of time. It's been a while since I've done Smash 4. No. Yeah, like one of my biggest problems with Smash 4 by the time we came away from it was there was a lot of focus on Fire Emblem. It's like, I really do think when you've got a crossover game, do more with it. Don't focus on one thing from the crossover too much. And then, you know, Smash Ultimate added more. Added more Fire Emblem characters. I like Smash 4. Smash 4 does not get enough love. But I'll be honest, I've not played this in a while. It had been a while since, it'd been a while before Ultimate came out. That was the last time I played this. And I've played a lot of Ultimate at this point, but that's mostly because of the online. There's people to play in it. That Mega Man trailer, the trailer that introduced Mega Man for this game was so hype. It's been a long time since I've done this. Yeah, thanks. It's not like there weren't people to play online in this game. But I just didn't really get into the online scene too much with this. And then with the with Ultimate, it helped that I had friends who were playing it as well, and that got me into the online. I miss just regular Link. This is a stage they didn't bring back, actually. So this was in Ultimate, this came back in Ultimate, this came back in Ultimate. These all came back in Ultimate. I don't think Mario Maker came back in Ultimate. Yeah. At some point, I should probably do something focusing on Smash for a bit. We are on 5 Smash games now. I could make a week out of it. And that's I do want to do Subspace Emissary. I've never actually done Subspace Emissary all the way through myself. Mewtwo. Yeah, it was actually pretty decent. Damn it. Yeah, I've never actually done Subspace Emissary, so I should really... I'd like to do that for the channel. That'd be fun. Yeah, I don't know. One thing I will say in favour of this over Ultimate, I prefer this Link to the Link they have in Ultimate. I don't like the way Breath of the Wild Link works. And they say everyone's here, but, you know, then they changed Link. Nice. Yeah, let's do one more match before we call an end to the stream, but we're gonna do what this one introduced. 8-player Smash. Which, honest to God, 8-player Smash is so difficult to play. And the reason 8-player Smash is so difficult to play is it is so hard to keep track of where you are. Who do I want to use? So I've ended up kind of having Roy as my main in Ultimate now. Which just kind of happened. Yeah, we had the FF7 stream, let's do this. There's only certain stages that can support 8 players. But what I think we'll do is Omega Midgar. Blade Beam. I like playing with items on. Like, you never see that in the online, really. It's very rare that anybody's actually playing with items on. And yeah, items cause chaos, but as far as I'm concerned, items are a very important... They're an integral part of Smash. Uh-oh. Yeah! The problem with that is, chances are Pikachu's in the lead now. No, I kind of doubt they'll bring Sephiroth in. Mostly because there's no point. I mean, if there's one thing I'll say, like, beyond Fire Emblem, having so many Fire Emblem characters, a big part of the issue from, like, the way a lot of the characters play is there's a lot of sword users as well. And then Dragon Quest, the heroes coming in, and that's more sword users. Damn it. If I'd got that a little bit sooner, I would have killed some of them. Still won. But yeah, no, I doubt it. I might have mentioned... I don't even remember what I've said in previous streams. We've done that many of them now. but it came out that Cloud was the last character of the base roster to be confirmed for Smash Ultimate because Square were being really difficult about it. And like now that Smash Ultimate's now had 2 more DLC characters announced, Dragon Quest Hero and Banjo-Kazooie, it came out in an interview that Banjo-Kazooie were the easier. It was easier for them to get Banjo-Kazooie than it was to get Dragon Quest Hero because Square were being difficult over it again. So honestly, I think I get the feeling Dragon Quest Hero is for the Japanese part of Smash, honestly, more than the Western side. But I think I'd be very surprised if we end up with anything else from any Square games. No, I don't think we'd have Sephiroth. And if we had another Final Fantasy character, I think it'd be someone not from 7. Mix it up a bit. I mean, bringing someone like Terra or Yuna could be really cool with the summon mechanics. Now at that point, I'm thinking of the way they work in Dissidia, and they're pretty fun. But I think it's about time to call it now. Dance would be interesting, because Nintendo already does have the relationship with Capcom. I mean, Mega Man was announced for this. We got Mega Man right here, and then we got Ryu as DLC, and then Smash Ultimate comes along and brings in Ken as well, and there might have been another Capcom character that I can't think of off the top of my head. But they've got the they've got the friendly. Is that better? It's not great. Yeah, I should find some music to put on for the ending. Yeah, like Smash Ultimate. Yeah, I like this one. Smash Ultimate brought in some more, and they've got a good relationship with Capcom. It's possible. They've got a good relationship with Sega. Who knows? Maybe we'll see Billy Hatcher. We probably won't because seriously, who remembers Billy Hatcher? But who knows? But I think we're gonna call it there for the stream. We've got on for a while now. I want to thank everybody who joined the stream. I do appreciate the support. Special thanks to Bane in the chat for keeping me company, as always. Really appreciate that, Bane. Thank you. I do really like this tune, actually. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 PM Greenwich Mean Time GMT. Should be continuing Eternal Darkness. See how that goes. Wow, we started with Paul Luther. So we are I think we're a Franciscan monk. Yeah. And I honestly don't remember who's after that. Might be the fat guy, the architect. I don't know. Yeah, back tomorrow at 10 PM GMT, Greenwich Mean Time with more Eternal Darkness, continuing that. It's going pretty well. If you want updates on the stream and the channel, which I need to do more often, you can follow me on Twitter at Green Chrono. Is my Twitter handle. And like I said, I need to. I need to actually start posting about the parts that go up on YouTube, on Twitter. I need to do more with that. Yeah, I like it, man. But yeah, as we're saying, yeah. If you want more, if you have more stuff from me for some reason, I do have the YouTube channel Mecha Chrono. That's Mecha-Chrono. Currently, we are uploading Prince of Persia and Spyro the Dragon. Prince of Persia is on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Although it finishes on Wednesday, Friday we'll be starting Metal Gear Solid. Spyro is currently going up on Tuesday and Thursday. So if you want more of me for some reason, more of my ramblings, check me out on there. The stream will be going up on the YouTube channel at some point. Once again, a special thanks to Bane in the chat for keeping me company. I always appreciate that. And that will be it for tonight. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night and take care. And let me find some other music to end this on. See you guys next time.